Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Taylor Bagnick with the Cova Collective Realty team, and today I am going to go over the Consumer Disclosure Information Form, otherwise known as the CDIF. This is the 2023 CDIF. So if you are a new agent who is looking to learn the CDIF and know exactly how to explain it to your clients, you have come to the right place. If you are a client of mine and we haven't been able to connect to set up a buyer's consultation, or your spouse was available and you were not, and you are getting caught up to speed on all of the documents, this is also a great video for you to watch as you review the consumer disclosure information form. And of course, if you have any questions after watching this video, do not hesitate to reach out. If you are not a client of mine as of yet, and you have been perusing on YouTube to learn more about moving into the Hampton Roads area, this is going to be a great video for you. But I would recommend that you watch one of my previous videos first. It is the How to Buy a Home in 2023. That is going to go over what the process looks like from start to finish, which is a great video to watch first, and then watch this one going over the consumer disclosure information form. And of course, please call or email me if you are interested in more information or have any questions at all. But I am going to go over this with you today. So I'm going to share my screen. Here we go. All right. So the consumer disclosure information form. So I go over this with both of my buyers and sellers, but I do find it most important on the buyer side. The reason being is because Virginia is a buy or beware state. All that means is we have a lot less disclosures than a lot of other states do. So that's why I like to go over this with my buyers so that we know exactly what to look out for prior to going out shopping. If you are already working with an agent that has not gone over this with you prior to going out shopping, I would recommend asking them about it, or feel free to reach out to me. I am happy to go over it with you. So for number one, agency interest disclosure. This is just saying that if you and I were related, we would have to disclose that on the contract, and vice versa for the seller side. If they're related to their agent, they do have to let us know. For audio and video recordings, welcome to 2023. Everybody nowadays has the Ring doorbells, nanny cams. So the sellers do not have to disclose if they have any audio and video recordings at the property. So we do just want to be mindful of what we are saying so that we don't lose any negotiation power. If we're in the kitchen and you say, oh my gosh, this is my dream home, I can't believe they're priced so low, we could lose negotiation power. So we wait until we are outside of the property, in our cars, until we start discussing offer terms. And vice versa. So for my buyers who are purchasing from out of state, so I know I work with a lot of military clients or people that are relocating to the area. If I am doing video tours for you, the seller does have to allow for us to have audio and video recordings in their home when I'm doing those video tours. For number three, community associations. So property owners association, homeowners association, and condo association. So if we are looking at a property that is in an association, we would receive the association documents. That would be a contingency where we would have 72 hours to review from the time that we receive them. And if there's anything in there that you disagree with, you would have the right to release and get your earnest money deposit back within that 72-hour review period. So we're going to be looking out for their rules and regulations, their bylaws, if there are any rental restrictions, if you plan on using this as an investment property down the line. Those are just some examples of what we are going to be looking out for when we review the association documents. For number four, dispute resolution. So this is saying that if we are to get into a disagreement with the seller side, that we are agreeing to mediate broker to broker before getting any attorneys involved. So myself, as your real estate professional, I am under a broker. So Keller Williams is my brokerage. And in the event that we cannot come to terms with the seller side and we do get into a dispute, we are saying that my broker will step in and get involved, and the seller's agent's broker would step in and get involved before we had to get any attorneys involved in whatever the situation may be. This is not something that happens often, but just something to be mindful of. Or five, environmental disclosures. So this is a useful resource link for any and all environmental disclosures for the entire state of Virginia. The big ones that we want to be mindful of here in our local area are A, indoor mold, B, lead-based paint, and C, wood preservatives. So for indoor mold, just knowing that the home inspector is not going to be taking any air quality test or mold spore samples, they're absolutely going to point out if they suspect any indoor mold in the home, but we would have to get a secondary inspection to investigate further in the event that that is an item of concern. For B, lead-based paint. So this is if the property was built prior to 1978, you do have the right to get a lead-based paint disclosure. I'm sorry, a lead-based paint inspection if the property was built prior to 1978. The seller is also going to have to let us know if they have any records pertaining to lead in the home and if they have had any previous inspections. Most times, homes nowadays have been encapsulated by now, meaning they've been painted over so many times that it's not something you necessarily have to worry about, but you do have the right to get a lead-based paint inspection for homes built prior to 1978. For C, wood preservatives. So this one is pretty silly. It's just saying that if you are to get rid of any decking or fencing, that you do get rid of that wood properly, especially if it was stained. You can't just throw it in a fire in your backyard because it could eliminate harmful fumes into the environment, making sure that you're disposing of that wood properly. For six, exterior insulation and finish systems. This is a synthetic stucco that you primarily see on the West Coast, which with how much moisture we have here in Virginia, it doesn't hold up so well. So typically we're going to see properties that are hardy plank, vinyl, and brick. If you are looking at a home with the exterior insulation finishing system, we would recommend getting a secondary inspection to make sure that there aren't any issues and no moisture has gotten trapped behind that siding. For seven, financing and insurance. So when it comes to choosing your lender, and then when we're shopping around for homeowners insurance and flood insurance, if it's required, we have plenty of recommendations for you as your local real estate professional. But whoever you decide to use for your financing and when it comes to your insurance is perfectly fine. We can use any and all providers. For B, flood hazard areas and flood insurance. So in our local area here in Hampton Roads, all of Hampton Roads is considered a flood zone. That does not mean that every property is going to be required to have flood insurance. It's going to be FEMA who dictates if you're in a flood insurance required zone. So that is something that the seller does not have to disclose to us if they're in a flood insurance required zone. That is something that we have to do our due diligence on. So I always check for my clients to make sure that they know ahead of time while we are looking into the property that they are looking to put an offer in on. If it's in a flood insurance required zone, I'm reaching out to my insurance partner, checking what that flood insurance policy looks like so that we can factor that into your monthly payment. So that is one that is really important, and you want to make sure that you are working with an agent that is checking if you're in a flood insurance required zone or not. And that is something that I always check on behalf of my clients. Also, just being mindful that just because you are not in a flood insurance required zone right now, FEMA could redraw the lines at any point and put you in a required zone where you then would have to get a flood insurance policy. C, home warranty insurance. So home warranties are separate from your homeowner's insurance. You can opt into getting a home warranty. We work with Cinch Home Warranty here locally, but there are other great warranty companies as well. What a home warranty does is it protects your major systems and appliances for your home. So you can opt in to get a home warranty where, say, your refrigerator breaks and you have this home warranty. You call your home warranty company, you pay a small deductible, and they have to fix or replace the appliance that went out that you were calling for. So some people really like home warranties because it can save you a substantial amount of money. Others would much rather just call and their local HVAC company or get a new appliance. So it really is case by case basis, but that is an option to you if you wanted to get a home warranty prior to closing on your home. For D, lender and owner's title insurance. So your lender is going to go over different insurances with you as it pertains to your loan. So the lender will be able to explain further with the different options that you're going to be required to have as far as insurance goes for your loan. And the title company is also going to ask you if you want owner's title insurance. I do recommend that you get owner's title insurance on your property. I have one for all 5 of my homes. That is just saying that if anyone down the line were to say that they had ownership in your home or that there was a lien, judgment, back taxes from when prior to when you purchased the home, if you have owner's title insurance, it can save you a lawsuit for if someone is coming after you. So my dad actually had a personal experience with this where he bought a foreclosed property. He got the owner's title insurance. There were no liens, judgments, encumbrances. And then a few years later, they said that he owed them money. But thankfully, because he had the owner's title insurance, that all went away. So it can be very useful in the event that something were to pop up down the line. 8, land use. So aircraft noise and accident zones. So here in the Hampton Roads area, we are surrounded by military bases. So we have different aircraft noise and accident zones. So if this is something that is an item of concern for you, just let us know and I will make sure that you are in a lower decibel level. If you would like to not be in the higher decibel levels of the aircraft noise and for B, all the way down. So municipal regulations, occupancy permits, building permits, restrictive covenants, transportation and roadways, parking permits, conservation, community development, and rollback taxes. These are all going to vary from city to city. So you would get a different answer in Chesapeake than you would Virginia Beach, than you would Norfolk, than you would Hampton, than you would Newport News. So if we have any questions about any of these, we would go to the respective city to get them answered for you. Number 9, lease management agreement. So this is saying that if there is a tenant in the property, we do have to respect the full term of their lease. So if a landlord is looking to cash out right now, but the tenant is going to still be in there until December of the end of this year, if that does not work with your timeline or you have no interest in becoming a landlord, then we might want to skip over that property because we would have to respect the full term of that tenant's lease. Number 10, mechanics lien. So this is a type of lien that can be put on a property if a contractor did work to the property and they were never paid by the seller. They could then go to the property and put a lien on the property that they need to be paid prior to the sale moving forward. So that is the importance of the title search to make sure that they're picking up on any of these liens, such as a mechanics lien, so that you're not taking over any of the seller's baggage and that all of those things are taken care of prior to you taking ownership. 11, Megan's Law. So this is a useful resource link for looking up any sex offenders in the areas that you are looking at or any of the neighborhoods that you're interested in. Number 12, powers of attorney. So we do work with a lot of people that are purchasing from out of state. So if we needed to set up a power of attorney closing for you or a notary closing, that is absolutely an option and something that we can set up on your behalf with the title company. 13, polybutylene pipes. So this is a type of piping that was used in the late 80s, early 90s. The first rounds of it did not hold up so well. There was a class action lawsuit against the poly piping. So that is a useful resource link for reading up on it. As of 2023, if you haven't had any issues, you are most likely fine. But it is going to be something that the home inspector will point out to you if you have poly piping in the home and if they suspect any issues. We do have some local home warranty companies as well that do cover the poly piping if that is something that you were interested in. 14, property inspection. So we do recommend getting a home inspection. So you pay the home inspector directly. That is one of your main contingencies in the home buying process. So we typically have 7 days to order the inspection, review the report, and let the sellers know if we want to continue to move forward or not. Home inspector is going to go through every nook and cranny of the property. So they're going to check the age of the roof, HVAC, hot water heater, making sure you feel confident in your purchase and moving forward with the home. 15, school redistricting. So just knowing that just because you are in a specific school district right now, the schools can redistrict whenever they see fit. 16, septic tank and on-site sewage system. So if we are not connected to city sewer and water and your home has septic and sewage, we would have to get a secondary inspection for the well as well. It'll most likely have septic and have a well. So we would have to get that secondary inspection. For a lot of our major cities, you're not going to see this, such as Norfolk and Virginia Beach. That's going to be city sewer and water. As we get to more rural areas, parts of Suffolk and Chesapeake, we would have to see if they have city sewer and water, or if you are looking at septic and well. For settlement, 17, settlement service provider and settlement funds. All this is saying is that you do not have to close with the same settlement company as the seller side. You can close with whoever you would like to close with. You really are never going to be meeting the seller at all. You are able to close with your settlement company, and they can close with their settlement company. 18, smoke detection. This is silly too, just making sure your smoke detectors work when you move into your new property. 417, square footage and acreage. So a lot of times sellers do like to round up when it comes to their square footage and acreage. So this is something that I always check on behalf of my clients as well, to make sure that the square footage that they have listed in their listing matches up to the square footage in the tax record. If there are major discrepancies, we want to start asking questions, especially if we know that they did a garage conversion or it looks like they did an addition to the home. Why don't the tax records match up? Did they permit the room or the structure properly? So it's just going to allow us to ask some more questions if there are major discrepancy, so you as the buyer do not run into any issues down the line. So that's something that I always look into on behalf of my clients. 20, survey disclosure. So a survey shows you where your property line begins and ends. It's not something that is mandatory here in Virginia, but say you have a dog and you know that you want to put a fence in your backyard, we would recommend getting a survey so you know exactly where your lot lines are. Or like we just spoke about, if you are curious about the acreage of your home, the best way to figure that out is by getting a survey to show you those lot lines. 21, third-party contract approval. So these are going to be your short sales, foreclosures, bankruptcies. They can be a riskier type sale because the bank now has ownership in the property and they have never lived in the home. So they might not know the true condition of the property. And typically these homes are being sold as is, where is. They're not going to make any repairs. So just depending on if you are looking for a fixer-upper or not, or something more turnkey, we can discuss if you would like to leave third-party contract approval properties on your home search, or if you'd like to take them off of your search. So the more I get to know you and your wants and needs, I can best help you to decide if looking at third-party contract approval properties make sense for you. 22, Virginia Residential Property Disclosure Act. So out of everything that I just mentioned, that is a part of our due diligence. So what we want to be looking out for while we are out shopping, and things that I am going to be looking into on your behalf. So that's why it is so important to work with an agent who understands the ins and outs of this form and knows exactly what the seller does have to disclose, so that you feel comfortable and confident while you're looking to make sure this is where my couch is going to go. And I love these countertops and cabinets. These are perfect. Myself, as your agent, and our team, we're going to be looking out for all of these other items to make sure that you're not going to run into any issues down the line after you purchase your home. We want it to go as smooth as possible. So this is everything that the seller does have to disclose to us on the contract. So they have to let us know that military air insulation noise. They have to let us know if there's any pending building or zoning violations to their knowledge. They have to let us know if there's any pending legal action on the property. For tourism activity zones, so we primarily see this towards the ocean front. If your road has to frequently be closed for any parades, marathons, things of that nature, is going to be a tourism activity zone. If the property was previously used to manufacture meth, so not too sure how many meth labs we had here in Virginia, but enough for it to become a disclosure. So we'll make sure we take that off your search. We don't want any Breaking Bad episodes. For stormwater management facilities, if there is a private stormwater drain on the property, they do have to disclose that for any maintenance or inspections. And repetitive risk loss. So they added this one as of 2022, and I am glad that they added this onto the disclosures. As I had mentioned previously, the seller does not have to let us know if they are in a flood insurance required zone, but they now do have to let us know if they've had 2 or more flood insurance claims within a 10-year period. So that can let us know if they are in a flood insurance required zone, how risky of a zone they are in, so that you can make the best decision on if you want to continue to move forward with the property or not. So that is everything that they have to disclose to us on the contract. So it's not too many things. And that is why I like to go over this form with all of my buyers prior to going out shopping. So we're almost finished up. So 23, water conservation and water frontage and rights. This is just stating if you do have a property that backs up to water, or we're looking at a property that backs up to water, what your rights are to that water. So swimming, fishing, boating, all of that fun stuff. And last but not least, wood destroying insects and moisture inspection. So we have a perfect environment here in Hampton Roads for termite and moisture. So not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So you definitely want to take care of your property when it comes to termite and moisture and making sure that you are on an annual plan. So to give you the peace of mind, we do get a termite and moisture inspection. We typically ask the seller to be responsible for 1% of the purchase price in repairs. So we get that termite and moisture inspection. If anything comes back as far as repairs or if a fungus treatment is needed, the sellers are typically held to 1% of the purchase price in repairs, giving you the peace of mind that you'll have a clear termite and moisture letter prior to taking ownership of the home. So aside from our home inspection, we also get that termite and moisture inspection so that you have the peace of mind. And if a treatment is needed, we just recommend staying on an annual plan so that you don't run into any issues down the line. And that is everything. So if you have any questions on this consumer disclosure information form or what the sellers need to disclose to us here in the Hampton Roads area, do not hesitate to call, text, or email me. I'm happy to set up a phone call or a Zoom meeting with you to dive even deeper into the consumer disclosure information form, what the home buying process looks like, and if you are ready to purchase a home and start building equity and generational wealth, definitely get in touch with me. I am happy to help and assist. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.